Welcome to Max Your Business, a show that really helps you to focus on ways to build your business. And today we're talking about recruiting and ways that you can build your business and build your team through recruiting. We've got some special guests and experts as well as entrepreneurs that will help you to walk through that process. Stay with us. Welcome back. I'm your host, Rollins Fontenot. Today we're talking about recruiting because nothing is really static in business. You're either growing or shrinking. And so we want to give you ideas on how you can build your business through recruiting efforts. And we have several business leaders and entrepreneurs and experts that will help us around this subject of recruiting and building our team. Now, first on the show, we have Walter Broussard. He's Senior Executive Vice President of Sales and Store Operations for Conn's, a publicly traded company headquartered in Beaumont, Texas. Starting out as a sales associate and coming all the way up the ranks over the last 25 years to Senior Executive Vice President for Conn's, we have Walter. Walter, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate having you.
Glad to be here.
Walter, we want to get your thoughts on what are some things that have helped you to build your team over the years?
I think, Raleigh, some of the things that over the years that I've learned is that you have to hire the right person. And once you hire the right person, then you have to have a good comprehensive training program. You have to develop people, because if you have a goal or if you have objectives that you like for your team members to overcome, I feel you have to really prepare them. And you can't really have them go out and win the war if you haven't trained them to win. So I believe that you hire right. You have to hire people that fit your company's mold from a personality standpoint. And once you take the time to interview, hire the right person, then you train them based on what you want. And then after you train them, you hold them accountable to what you've trained them to. So therefore, our goals are here. We've taught you. We expect you to hit these particular performance standards. And when you don't, then we have to offer more training, or it just may not be the right thing for you.
So Walter, do you think it's a good idea to continue to recruit even when you don't necessarily have an open slot at the time?
I believe, Rollis, that you never stop recruiting. When you run into great talent, I think an organization is only as good or as strong as the weakest link, as we always hear. And so I feel that anytime you have the opportunity to bring in a talented individual, you take that individual in. You can always find a spot. Good talent you always find a place in your organization for good talent.
In your opinion, do you think it's better for the hiring manager or for the recruiter to go out and seek that talent? Or do you think it's best to do both?
I think a little bit of both. I think the most important thing is making sure that whoever represents your company that's going to be doing the interviewing or finding that talent, they understand what you want, because you want to make sure that this individual is going to fit in to your organization, and that gives you the ability to, again, to grow upward, for that individual to aspire in your company, for them to reach new heights. But again, I think all of that starts with making sure that this individual is the right fit.
Do you think it's best to base our hiring decisions on intuition or perhaps past history, or maybe a combination of both? What do you think about that?
Well, I think a lot of it is based on that individual's past, their history from employment. I think that plays a big part of what they do in the future. And then I think, secondly, I think it's their personality. I think that, I believe you hire personality. I feel that you hire someone that you feel will represent your company very well from appearance standpoint, from a mannerism standpoint, from honesty standpoint. So I think if you get those core basics, I think you could train them to do any job within the company. But some of those core principles, some of them you can't really train. So I think you have to have those things, and then you build from there.
Walter, we're seeing a lot of companies who are hiring salespeople. They're starting to require undergrad degrees. Do you think that's a good idea?
I think it's important. I think that having someone that is educated, that that they have the the foundation to be able to learn and to be able to go forward in your organization. I think that to have that individual that has the mental capacity to move forward, because again, I believe when you're hiring, when you're sitting in front of someone, you have to look at that individual as potentially being an executive in your company or someone that could possibly replace you. And I still believe that you hire people better than yourself, and I think that's how you build your team. And so again, if I'm going to have a world-class organization, I want people within that organization that's better than me. And so I feel that a good recruiter, a good interviewer, a good executive is going to look for people better than themselves and not be intimidated by that. So if you have someone that's better than Rollis, well, you think that now I have an opportunity to really build on this individual. So I think education is very important. I think on top of the education, I think that having that personality, because again, if you have education but you don't have that personality, I still think that, so I think you need them both. I think you need them both.
So Walter, have you ever found yourself in front of a candidate that didn't quite have the background you were looking for, but they had the personality? And perhaps vice versa.
I've seen both, Rollis. I've seen times when we've made the decision to hire someone that may have not had they may have not had the absolute history that we would love to see. It wasn't, tailor-made, but it was just something about that individual. They had the appearance, they had that the initiative to really want to do better. They wanted to really, they showed you just through the interview, or you felt that that drive that was there and that persistence. Things that that attitude, some of those things that you can't really teach, some of those things that are internally. And so I've seen both. And then I've seen sometimes when you have individuals that have a resume that's that long and maybe, have all types of experience, but it just doesn't work. Right. And so I think the key to it is really having that interviewer really understand what your company's needs are and understand what profile you're looking for, and don't cut that short, because again, when you cut that short, then it hurts you on the other end. Your turnover is higher. That's a huge expense to you. Your customers that come in, they don't get the very best treatment. So again, I think that taking that initial time, that is the future of your company.
Walter, we really want to thank you for being on the show. Thank you very much.
Great, my pleasure.
Stay with us. When we come back, we'll be talking with an HR expert on how we can stay in HR compliance while building our team.